Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Taste of Dragons, the TATE'S, video game podcast that all you nemesis listen to. My name is Brian.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Troy.
And I'm Joe.
And we are the
Taste of Dragons.
Yeah. Then we also have somebody else here with us today, someone very special, right, Troy?
That's right. Our guest of dragons this week, our G.O.D., is a very close friend of ours. She is an actress, podcasteur, our ranger in our Dungeons & Dragons campaign, and also our Resident Evil expert. Give it up for Jordan!
Hey, everyone.
I am so jazzed that you are here joining us on Dios de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead.
That is true.
That was good.
It is the day after Halloween.
It is.
Right? I think.
Yeah, it is.
Today?
I believe
now.
you're right.
I mean, I'm sober, so yeah.
I'm jazzed.
I like how you
use
said
the
that
word
like you're
jazzed.
not normally sober.
I know, I never drank, yeah.
How was your Halloween, Jordan?
It was really fun. I wasn't sober.
That's a good way to do it.
That is a
Yeah.
good way to do it.
Yeah. Trick or treat or drink.
That's a treat, though.
That is a treat.
Yeah.
And a trick.
Could be a trick as well, yeah.
Yeah, it's like tricking and treating yourself.
See? Leave it to the adults to come up with it.
Yeah. It was a good one. We had everyone over.
Yeah.
A lot of dragons, some dragon costumes.
There were.
Which
You might-
you may get to see somewhere in social media down the road.
I'm sure
We're
you will.
warned.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we took enough video and pictures of us doing really stupid things to not use it.
We're getting really literal with the dragon name here.
We are.
Oh, we were both tasting and dragoning. We had some good snacks. We had some good dragons.
I
We
think we're
did?
tasting dragons. Like,
Oh, that would be highly offensive.
as a
Oh, my
vegan, I
goodness.
can't. I'm obligated, I think, to say that I'm a vegan
right.
when I enter a room.
Right.
Or is that a vampire? I have to be like invited in. I don't remember. But yeah.
No
I
dragon
cannot-
eating for you.
No. Unless
No.
unless it was like a nice flower or something.
Yeah.
Dragon
Flower
flower.
dragon.
Well, you know, and I'm also pretty sure all of our costumes were made in China, so I don't think any of us want to put that in our mouth. I mean,
Fair enough.
having it on our skin is already probably bad enough.
I have no idea how to wash that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. And moral ambiguity doesn't do well with my digestive system.
Oh.
Yeah,
On that
that's a
note.
good thing. Yeah. On that note, let's get into the games that we've been playing this week.
What are you playing?
I love that. So fun.
We have a new release.
We do. New
Release.
I do believe we were talking about Luigi's Mansion, and that is what I was playing, along with many other people last night. We played in the Screamland, or Scream Park.
The Scream Park, yeah.
That's right,
This
Joe.
game is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Like,
it's fun.
obviously, I'm biased. I already love Luigi's Mansion. It's a really, really great game. But the stuff that the single player mode so far, it's the same old, same old. It doesn't seem like much has changed. They added a new piece of the vacuum so far. So ultimately, like, there's some cool new like puzzle solving pieces of it. I have not hit the point where you get to be Gooigi yet, though.
Oh,
So-
wait. Well, okay. At
I'm
first,
there.
I'm like, boo. But then I'm like, make you wait for it. Make you
Right?
work for it.
Actually, every you're in this haunted hotel and you don't know it. You get a VIP all paid expense trip there, and it's dun dun dun. It's not real. So you end up having to unlock your free. Like the opening is actually really scary. Like when the bad guy comes out, you're like, whoa, what the heck? And they have all these pictures of you and your friends, and there's X's all over, and everything's in grayscale.
Oh.
It's very like
Your
hey,
friends,
this is
like Mario and Toad?
Peach and Toad, and
All
they've
have
got
X's over
They have
them?
their faces, like there's a picture frame of them that you see earlier in the game in color and beautiful life and lovely rainbow everything, and then it's dark and it's grayscaled, and there are big X's over their faces.
What is the deal here? Why is Luigi after these ghosts? What is going on?
Okay.
I haven't played.
He's a
I haven't-
ghostess.
Yeah.
Okay.
He hates them ghosts.
He doesn't hate ghosts. Okay, so what happened in the first one is that he stumbled upon getting this mansion, basically, and he gets this deed in the mail, and he goes and he ends up there, and King Boo, along with a bunch of a ghost family are there basically terrorizing anything in there. So it's kind of
it
like
was a trick.
So it was a trick. So he goes there and he meets a professor, and the professor studies ghosts. So he basically studies ghosts kind of like the way Ghostbusters study ghosts. They trap them and leave them in a vacuum vault somewhere, and they study them. It's a little messed up, but those ghosts were wreaking havoc beforehand. So it's kind of like a give and a take. Like it's one of those.
It's like Dexter meets Ghostbusters.
It kind of. It's like imagine if you were in Casper and you only had to deal with the uncles and Casper didn't exist. You know, like nobody wants that.
No.
So
They're so
No,
gross.
ghosts that fart, nobody wants that.
so yeah.
With
So
ghosts with like toes. Nobody wants that.
toenail clippings. Yeah, right. Yeah. But ultimately, he, all the tricks and things happen. So that's how he kind of stumbles into getting this Poltergeist 3000, and he helps he helps get the ghosts out of the house essentially, or trap them so that somebody else can research them and somebody else can live there. Then, in this haunted hotel, there are black widows all over the place. There are mice. There are ghosts, and you are using that vacuum to clean every mess that they've left up and themselves.
So Luigi's a known quantity. Like, hey, if I got some ghosts in my hotel, call on Luigi. But isn't he always also like super afraid of everything?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Why is he answering these calls?
He opens a door when
Who are you gonna call? Not Luigi.
I'm not afraid of no ghost.
Yeah, it's no, he's Mario. That's all he like. He when he realizes the big bad is there, and then you're like, oh no, what's going on? He's like, oh no, I've got to save everybody. He hunches over, grabs a flashlight, and then shakily walks down hallways.
So he's like, doesn't he know that this is what he's doing now?
He knows. He just doesn't want to do it because he's afraid.
It says so much about his personality that his only voice line is like, Mario.
Yep.
Mario.
Yep.
I love the idea of a hero who is not heroic, though. Not many of those out there.
Oh, imagine if you played the whole game and then at the very end, Mario defeated King Boo, and they were all like, gosh, that Mario's
He's
so great.
so talented.
Oh my gosh.
Good thing he saved us all.
Yeah.
Luigi, what were you doing this entire time? Just riding on his coattails, I'm assuming.
And then Luigi fashions a noose, and then somebody has to clean him up.
And then he becomes a ghost.
Yes.
Yeah.
And haunts his own house.
Oh no.
Oh man, who's
Professor
gonna?
Egad can't get him to bust himself.
No.
I can't think of anyone in the universe more pathetic than Luigi that would
Toad.
take over his job. I don't know. Toad's got like a spunk. You got Captain Toad. He's a captain. Like, I don't know. Birdo's too awesome. Like,
Birdo is really awesome.
Yeah.
Like, who's scared enough in the Nintendo universe to take over Luigi when he did die in one of those trailers?
What about Waluigi?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, Waluigi takes over and just doesn't care.
He would be scared and incompetent.
Ew, Waluigi.
No, thank you. Thanks, Troy.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
done.
Thanks for that. Luigi's Mansion, give it a whirl. It's pretty darn great. I give it, so far, it's only got like 3 sandwiches out of 5, though. It's just because it's so early into the game. I will give the multiplayer version of it.
Oh, right.
That's like 10 sandwiches.
Yeah, that was
Like,
great.
it's worth every sandwich you could possibly jam into your mouth at the same time without dying. It's the best.
It was pretty great.
There's 3 different modes. Everybody was having a great time. It was really good. And apparently you can hook up 8 controllers to it. We did it with 5. And
Yeah.
just 5 people was insane.
So is it 8 Luigis, or you
It's
get to-
Gooigi's or Luigi's.
It's
Oh,
two
so
different
different
teams.
colors.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's 2 teams, so it's Gooigi's versus Luigi's.
Oh.
Yeah.
I watched a video of someone playing this game, and their headcanon, which was very funny, is that Luigi was very clueless, but Gooigi was like, nah, I got this. like he was like his confident alter ego. It was very funny.
Nice. Very fun. So, all right, good game there, Joe. Good game. How about you, Troy? What did you play?
All right, I'm playing a game. Since it is October, or it was October, I wanted to play something a little disturbing, a little spooky, a little intense. So I picked up a game that came out maybe about 2 months ago. It's called A Plague Tale: Innocence. It is a horrible game to play. And I don't mean that from the gameplay standpoint. I mean, like, I don't want to be in this world. If you remember, I think last week I talked about being in the underworld, and it was just so unpleasant that it was a compliment to the makers. Same thing with this game. It is called A Plague Tale. It is about the plague. It takes place around the time of the Inquisition, and definitely like serf style England.
Okay.
And you play as like a 15-year-old girl whose house is raided by the Inquisition, and her mom is like, get your brother and get out of here. And then like you leave, and just you and your little 5-year-old brother, and then you're just trying to traverse the land, trying to get help while the Inquisition is after you, because they want the little boy.
But rats.
So this is why I don't want to be in this game. I knew it was in for trouble, because just the menu that you have to select, like, start game, is just an empty room filled with hundreds of scurrying rats, all making that noise. Remember The Mummy, when all those beetles like came out of the wall? It's that, but rats. And Mandy and I recently this year had to deal with a bit of a rat problem.
Yes, you
did. On our own home turf.
Do you need to borrow my cat?
Not
no.
anymore.
Okay.
But maybe next time. Hopefully there's not a next time. The one thing that the experience gave me, besides the sight of it, was the smell of it, which I will never forget.
No.
So seeing 100 of those little rats scurrying around was just like, oh, this is uncomfortable. And the whole game is just you running away from these rats, or burning them, or corralling them in different areas. They're everywhere. Your little brother is sick with something, and it looks like he may have something to do with the actual plague, which is a lot more ferocious than the historical plague. Mm-hmm. Like, it comes after you in different forms.
And it's like a different level of disgusting. Like, the rats are clearly like some kind of supernatural force, because there's way too many of it for it to be realistic.
Yeah.
And then, like, the sound that they make is kind of like the sound of, like, almost like someone chewing. It has that, like, greasy, sloppy, wet kind of. It's so disgusting.
It's a combination of, like, nails on chalkboard and somebody chewing. It's horrible.
It's perfect for the game.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they knock the atmosphere out of the park.
There's
but.
dead horses that their like insides are like throbbing, and then explodes, and rats comes out. There's like, just, you go to a battlefield and there's just bodies piled high. It's just unnerving to be in that game, which is great because it is a stealth game. You are supposed to sneak around and just try to get to a safe location, get your brother someplace safe, and try to find answers to cure him, because he's got something going on with himself. And it's also like environmental puzzles. So you may reach a section where you can't get up on high. So how can you move a block over here, or how can you corral the rats to like take down a guard? It's really well made. It definitely takes a lot of inspiration from Last of Us, because it's like a partner thing, you and your brother, and also brothers that cool Tale Two Brothers.
Yeah. Also, Aiko.
Yes. The Umeda joint.
Yeah.
Because you're holding his hand and you're taking him through, and you're solving puzzles with your little baby brother.
That's
and
awesome.
sometimes he's like, no. Like, you press a button like, hey, hold my hand. He's like, no. And he like walks off, and you're like, oh, damn it. Come on, kid.
He's like, I'm 7 and I don't have to do that.
Did you not see the 7-foot tall stack of bodies outside? Is this really a time to throw a fit, kid? Hold my hand. Let's get out of here. The only knock on the game I have is that sometimes it reminds me that it's a game. It's so immersive and so pretty and like really well made, that sometimes it has that game thing where you have to look around the environment to find things to craft or collectibles. And at one point it's like, oh man, there's this horrible Inquisition guard is after me, but let me go look over here off the path around this tree for a flower. And it's like, kind of breaks the narrative a little of the importance of like, hey, gotta keep going, gotta go. But other than that, it is a horrible game in all the right ways. I play with the headphones in the dark. It's nice. It's good.
What system is it for?
I'm playing it on the PlayStation.
Was it like an expensive game?
It was $30. Good question.
That sounds really.
I'm happy I knew the answer to that.
Yeah, no, because I'm interested in that. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's intense, and I like the kids are kids. They're not overly kid-like, and they're not just adults doing kid voices. They seem very natural and real, and it's predominantly led by a cast of children. It's like 4 kids so far that are kind of in my party.
Nice,
and it's interesting. It's interesting. Very linear, but then not in a bad way.
And they chose interesting ages. Like, it wasn't like that traditional, like, hey, I'm 17, or like that, like, I live in Pokemon and for some reason I'm 9, but I act like I'm 17.
Yeah.
This is like a 7-year-old and a 14-year-old, and then they act like those ages, which is cool.
Which is awkward. It's awkward.
Yeah.
And it's great. Yeah. So good stuff.
Nice.
Give it a whirl.
Very nice.
Semi-new release.
So how many rat-eaten sandwiches left?
No. I
Okay.
knew where that was going. Oh, gosh. As you are the sandwich in this equation.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I gave myself 5 out of 5 sandwiches. Whatever.
Fair enough.
I got high confidence.
So instead of new release, it's close enough.
Indeed.
Cool. How about you, Amanda?
This week I played Destiny 2, big shocker. But the Festival of the Lost came out, which is their Halloween event, and it was surprisingly fun. They did a bunch of new things that that I haven't experienced before. Is they had a lady come to the tower, so the tower is all decorated. It's got this big spooky tree. Or if you go to different places in the tower, they have like immersive Halloween decorations. I just found out if you run around the tree that there are collectibles on all of the branches, so they like reward you for exploring.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know about that.
They have some paper masks out, so you can dress up as your favorite villains with these paper masks. They have
I'm half a fan of that.
I wish the masks were better.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. They're kind of crappy looking.
I think they're supposed to be.
it's on
Like they're
purpose.
whimsy,
But it's not crappy enough then? Like, just give me like a paper bag with like a drawing of someone's face on it if that's what you're going to do. It just looks like weird pixelated.
I think I'm bummed because there are like 10 masks total or something. No, there are like 20 masks total, and I think I like 3 of them. And I think that's what it is. It's like I keep having to spend money to buy these masks that are kind of like, meh. But the idea is funny and fun. But they also have a gun that looks super dope, but you need to get all the masks to get the gun, and I don't know anyone who has it. Have you guys gotten the gun yet?
No.
I'm almost there. I'm only about 10 chocolate coins away.
Of course you are, Brian. We see you on there. We don't invite you because we feel like we would just hold you back. We want to let you fly, Guardian. Fly.
But the 2 best things that they have is they have the new Haunted Forest mode, which is a Vex gate on Mercury. So you have...
and the Vex are like the robot killers. They're the Terminators of the universe.
So they basically took levels that already existed and then made them very dark so you can't see what's in front of you. And then you have to kill things really quickly. And the more levels that you get through, the more rewards you get. But it's cool because you can't, like, in certain places see the floor. So you want to hurry, but sometimes you, like, cut a corner and be like, oh, no. And then you're just falling. It's like, I should have taken my time there. Or you'll turn the corner and then they have Hive, which are zombie-like creatures that run really fast. And there'll be, like, 7 of them running at you from out of nowhere, and then you're just like that gut reaction where you're just like, ah,
and then you're falling.
and then you're falling.
She's like, well, I guess I'll die now.
but it's a lot of fun. The only thing that I would say is kind of a bummer is I was really looking forward to the skeleton armor. Is they have a whole new armor set and it glows, and then it looks like a skeleton suit. And I was like, cool, what do I got to do to get to that dope skeleton suit? And the only answer is pay us $15. And I was like, oh, I don't...
Either that or if you have Bright Dust, which is the
lot
in-game
of Bright
currency.
Dust.
But yeah, you need to have a lot of it.
And I can't farm Bright Dust. I mean, not really.
No, you can't. You can only get a certain amount every week.
Yeah, from the quests.
Yeah, from the quests. Yeah.
Bright dust sounds like glitter.
It looks like glitter.
Yeah. That's not far off there, George.
But aside from the armor being kind of a bummer, everything else is really cool.
That's nice.
And I'm looking forward to Iron Banner coming back next week.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is next week. Yeah, because I completely missed Iron Banner because I had like a whole bunch of stuff going on that week. But like before then, I was in it to win it, and I was like, all right, sweet, Iron Banner week. Oh, I got a lot of stuff to do. I didn't even get to play a single game. Well, very nice, very nice. I'll go next. It's still the same game as last week. It's Autonauts, which is a fun little whimsical game where you program your bots to do just menial tasks. And I actually completed all of the in-game, like they have what's called like certifications and research. So I completed all the research, and I was like, all right, sweet. And like the very last research is actually a question mark. Ooh. So I was like, ooh, I wonder what this is going to unlock. And then I did it, and I was like, oh, we also would like to know what it unlocks. Look forward to an update coming soon. It's like, oh, So I unlocked nothing. Oh, okay. I guess I'll play it when the update comes.
You unlocked anticipation.
It's exactly what I unlocked.
Enjoy.
I unlocked, I'm done with the game right now. I ended up making about 250 bots, roughly, over the course of the game.
Did any of the bots make a human?
Not yet.
You don't want a companion?
Maybe that's what that last research was, and I just don't know.
Right.
Oh,
right?
It could be.
It's time to take the next step in creation.
It is.
Did you ever unlock the sub-programming that you wanted so that you could either duplicate or create?
It was actually already in the game. It's just it's like the game is intuitive enough. It's just there's a lot of small little things that it doesn't tell you what you can do. Like you can build better bots by getting better parts, but like you have your bots that you start the game with that are not that great, and so the game doesn't tell you that you can actually switch out their parts with the newer ones.
Oh.
But the game never tells you that. Like there's no like in-game menu that you can go to with tutorials or anything. You just have to realize, oh, I have to hold down control and then right click on it and it'll replace the parts.
Oh.
So it's like those types of things. And that's what it was with the one where like I created a save disk and it was empty and I didn't know how to use it. I thought, oh, maybe I'm going to unlock the ability to use it. No, you just had to go up to something and control left click on it.
Oh.
And it would copy it. And then if you wanted to give it to somebody else, you would control right click.
You know, Brian, all this beep boop talk just makes me feel like maybe there's 251 robots on this island.
It could be. It could be. You know,
because any human doesn't understand anything that just happened
true.
In the last minute of speaking.
There's a lot of controls and clicks and, you know.
He's a robot. He's talking in clicks and controls.
It could also be high school. There's a lot of clicks and controls in high school.
I mean, right?
Right?
Gosh.
I was totally
Greg Pezacek.
I know. I was totally
looking at you.
Totally a part of them. I know all about the clicks in high school.
You were the most popular robot at your high school.
I was. I controlled everything. So yeah, I finished up Autonauts and I'm done with it. So until maybe the update comes out, but probably not. I'm done with it.
How many sandwiches?
For myself, because I love programming, probably about a good 4 out of 5 sandwiches. If you don't like programming, probably about a 0.5 because it's all programming. So yeah, that's the game. How about you, Jordan? Round us out with the God of the week.
Absolutely. The game that I've been playing, and it'll probably be if you ask me next week. You can text me and ask me. It'll be Detroit Becomes Human. Mm-hmm. Detroit Become Human. Mm-hmm. I play it so many times I forget the name. But yeah.
Very fitting. You're talking about this after Brian's talking about his robot.
That's right.
Excursion.
But my bots are deviants. Ooh. So they break the barrier and they just become human. Yes. Oh, like the title, like it says in the title. It's suggested in the title.
I'd rather become human than become Detroit. I mean, just personally.
Yeah.
Seems like that's a lot to handle. A lot of responsibility.
Have you seen the Detroit in the game? Because it's gorgeous.
That's right. Tell me about it.
Parts of it are.
Yeah.
Tell you about Detroit?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've never been there, but I think no. But anyway, no. It's kind of futuristic. Mm-hmm. Detroit. It's like is now. I've never been to there, so maybe there are parts that are
already futuristic.
Already just beautiful, shiny. I doubt there's any robots walking around, but I'm sure there's people on meth there. But
they're robotic enough.
Am I allowed to say that? Do you have to bleep that out?
No, we're fine.
It's a real epidemic.
Yeah, and it really is.
It's real.
It's taking over. But we should talk about that. No,
it's a real plague tale.
So with Detroit, like What is it that you're doing or like what kind of game is it?
Well, Detroit Become Human, I've played it probably maybe 5 or 6 times now.
Nice.
Well, I feel like I've only played it like 3 times because I have such a hard time changing a lot. It's basically a game. I've come to describe it as like my favorite movie. And you know, like when you're watching your favorite movie and like sometimes you're like, man, I wish that they didn't do this because like it resulted in somebody's death or something. Right. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I wish, even though I've seen it a million times, this movie, I wish I could just, I still have hope that they're not going to go open that door and fall off the
Right.
into the black hole.
Why'd they go that way? That moment in movies, you're like, don't open the door, don't open the door, don't open the door.
And you're like, I've seen this 1,000 times. I know, but this game is kind of like your favorite movie that you can kind of change.
Yeah.
It's not. I was listening. Lewis described something on the last time he was on. I just forgot.
You're fine.
Yeah. It's kind of like
no. He was saying that like it presents the illusion of an open world.
Okay.
But it's very linear.
Yeah,
You're on a track,
like,
but you can you have moments where you can go and just explore your surroundings. But ultimately, like you have to get to this point. Like you have to open this certain door or
right.
Make
When you're in a
choice.
scenario, you get the options to kind of create your own adventure, or how you react to a character, how you talk to a character. So the way that the scene plays out feels like you could go anywhere and do anything.
Right.
But once you kind of finish the game and you kind of look at the different chapters and you see the branching paths, you see how they're just very different, interesting ways to kind of get to one out of like 3 different ends or goals.
So the first time I played it, there's a wonderful part where you have to find shelter, and there's you're in like a very desolate city, and it looks endless when you first play it. Of course, if you play it like 19 times like me, you've learned that like, all right, well, there's not that much to do as it looks. But the first time you play it, you just feel like the possibilities are endless.
Such a sweeping experience.
And I've done things by mistake, because I feel that there's a true story for me where I like to do everything good. I haven't really been able to turn anybody like into like a bad person, or I just can't do it because I just
not even on
you're
purpose.
taking care of a little girl, and I just like you can kind of isolate her.
Oh yeah, I did
but
that.
I don't know if I'm trying to get there because I want to play a different game, but I just can't bring myself to do it.
It's cold.
Well, I've done things by accident where my characters ended up in like a concentration camp. And I'm like, I had no idea, because I
it's
played
not
like
fun.
2 or 3 times at that point. I had no idea that could be a thing, and
Yeah.
I was mortified. I was sick to my stomach playing it. I was like, well, I'm gonna just do it. I have to go through it. I was like, I'm gonna start over. I'm like, I'm not ready for this right now.
Yeah. Detroit's beautiful because you can play it through once and just get a really moving experience, and then you can actually game it and kind of go in and poke around at all the different pieces of the web that they've put together to see the content that they've put in, and some of the places they go are just breathtaking. Who's your favorite character between Connor, the robot boy, Kara, the robot girl,
And Marcus, the other
and
robot
Marcos,
boy,
the non-robot?
the non-robot. Yeah, true. Well, my favorite, there's 3 people, but my favorite's Kara, because I love the relationship with taking care of someone else. It's very reminiscent of Resident Evil 2 when you're Claire taking care of Sherry, or you mentioned, I loved when you mentioned the little brother thing. I love having somebody that depends on you in the game with you. But I really love Connor. I think with Connor, I like because there are I feel more comfortable going different ways with Connor, because it doesn't mean that I jeopardize my relationship with a little girl and make her like feel ostracized or something.
I like playing as Connor because the other 2 I could operate choices based on myself, because they're kind of very humanistic. But Connor's like a robot. And you kind of have to role play and put yourself into Connor's shoes and make decisions that you may not make, but maybe correct for the way the character is presented.
Yeah, and Connor is essentially he's working with a human police officer, and that relationship can be like Lethal Weapon 4, Lethal Weapon period. I don't know why I put a number on it, but
it's the best one.
It is my favorite one. But it's like they can have a really wonderful like love-hate relationship that's very comical at times, or you can take them into a completely awful direction of very, very just viciousness and
My favorite playthrough was when you intentionally killed Connor absolutely every time that you could, because he just became slowly more incompetent. But he was every time he comes to the scene, he's so optimistic and sure that he's going to succeed that it became like towards the last few scenes, it was just like roll on the floor funny. It was just so great.
And there's button presses, so if you're running through traffic, you press the button the right way, you dodge traffic. And I would just put the controller down. You get hit by the first car. If there's ever a fight, I would just put it down instantly definitely knocked out. It was it was hilarious.
Connor's got one of the best at the end. He has one of the best sequences for action that I love watching him do it. I love playing it because even though you do have scenes where you can do action, it's not a free rate. You can't kick and punch whenever you want. Like you have to follow the buttons. But if you land those buttons, it's very, very. It feels wonderful. And there's one moment in particular I kept missing, and I'm like, it was so frustrating because I'm just like, I want to see Connor do all these kick-ass things, and I'm failing him right now. But yeah,
cool.
Yeah, but no, I forgot. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Detroit's a great game. Underrated. I think a lot of people give it a lot of flack.
Well, if I had to, I would think I love the
for.
repetition. If you play it over and over again, the repetition of the mundane tasks like washing a dish or mopping a floor, it's actually very soothing to do things like that. But when you get into, like, Marcus is not my favorite character, so I find doing some of his stuff over and over again, I wish I could kind of, like, skip it. And actually at the end of the game, you can take a survey of, like, who's your favorite, and everybody, it just asks you these questions, and everyone's agrees that Marcus was their least favorite, and I think it's because it's the one I think that lacks the.
He's the most generic.
I think it's because I think with Kara, it's fun to see that, like, humanness come out.
Yeah, to become human.
Oh, I see now.
How many sandwiches would you give it on a scale of 5 sandwiches, with sandwiches being your favorite sandwich in the world?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go with a 4.5 because you can't. Just nothing's perfect.
How do you cut that 0.5 of a sandwich? Is it like a sideways cut or a horizontal cut? Like, how do you cut your sandwich?
I would eat, if I'm eating a sandwich, it's usually on a baguette or a roll or something. So you really can only slice that down the middle unless you really. Unless you want to eat, unless you want to, it'll be very messy.
I was just wondering how this works out for you.
It's cool. Diagonal if it's on white bread.
All right, I like it.
I like a diagonal
you can cut a baguette and have like that little bit of a diagonal.
I do a little slant. I do a little slant. You're right. I'm sorry. I misspoke.
All right. Well, good games this week, everyone. Now that brings us on to our news segment.
News.
I guess news. Let's start with the gift that keeps on giving. That is Fallout 76. Well, I mean,
oh no, what's happening now?
At least giving to us, not to the actual players.
Leave us alone, Fallout.
Well, we talked about last week. They did the pay subscription. You can pay, what was it, $10-15 a month and get like your own private server that you can invite anybody you want to.
$100 a year.
$100 a year. You can get a thing that makes it so that you can put however much scrap you want in on it.
And that's never-ending money.
It's never-ending.
Every month you're paying.
Yep.
What?
So everything I just said has gone wrong. So the unlimited scrap thing that you can have, you put however much scrap you want into it, and because it normally weighs a lot, so you can only put hold so much. But for this, you can have an infinite amount. Players were coming back to it and seeing that there is nothing in it. So all of their infinite scrap was gone.
In 76, you use scrap to make everything. You could make different gear or different housing items. So the idea of like playing this game and then taking all of your currency or your materials and then was like, oh, I don't normally have enough room to store all these, so I'll put them in these new special box, and then they come back and it's empty. And it's just like, what? And they pay $100 a year for an empty box.
Wow.
Yep. Which perfectly describes Fallout 76.
Is that all you get for the $100?
No. So you also get.
It gets worse.
So you also get a private. So you get like a little like an icon that's above your head that's like, hey, look, this is a person who's helping us along with this. That has now also become a point of contention in the game. So now people are seeing other people with that above their head, and they're like, well, I'm automatically going to kill you.
A class system has erupted within the game.
Yeah.
So people who didn't pay the $100 can visibly see who did, and then they will gang up on them because they're the rich people in the game.
Yeah.
Well, I can't be mad at that.
Like, they have infinite scrap. They don't need their scrap.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about killing them anymore.
Can you kill them and take their scrap? If the box is empty, so it
if
doesn't
it's
matter.
on them, yes.
And here's the thing: you do have to opt in to be assaulted. You can't just randomly get that. Like, it's not just random. You have to either be in a certain zone or opt into like getting attacked by someone else.
So if you're hanging out in steerage, you can,
that's the thing. You could hide all day and not get killed if you
Right.
want.
Yeah, and that's the other thing though. Like those players are choosing to play on the public servers because they have their own private servers if they want, which players are finding out that sometimes they're not exactly private servers. They might be servers that other people were playing on, but nobody's no longer playing on because they go out to loot stuff and it's already picked clean. So they're not even getting a fresh server that they're on. It's a server somebody was already on, just that nobody else is now.
That's like saying, hey, we'll give you a beautiful, delicious orange every month. And then instead of an orange, you're just like, oh, here's the peels. That's the part you wanted, right?
Oh,
It's just the rind. Yeah.
It's just the rind, but then at least on those private servers, you can invite whoever you want. You can invite friends onto. It turns out no. What it actually is so you have your rinds, right? And you're like, oh, I want to give it to you and to you, to a couple of my friends. It turns out that no, anybody who's on your friends list can join your server. So it's not like, so your rinds are out there and all of your friends, even like the dirtbag ones, can just reach out and grab some. So that's actually a really big problem with especially with Fallout 76, because in order to trade with someone in the game, you have to be friends with them. So a lot of people are just being friends with other people to trade with them, and then just forgot about them. Or whatever, so all those people could just join their server.
Oh, this sounds like so much work to have to go through your friends list after that and being like, all right, I have 40 people I'm not actually friends with, but I gotta like go back and find them. And
yep.
What happened? I thought this game was like revolutionary at one point. Not 76, but the Fallout title in general.
Yeah, the Fallout series itself has its own bugs and stuff, but it's a well-regarded series.
Yes.
But this is their first realm in trying to make it like truly a multiplayer experience where everyone, all the people in there are just out doing their own thing, and it has been bogged with problems right out the gate.
Yeah.
And our fact checker AJ is still in the field.
He is.
He is
He is
a very
in the
aggressive
weeds.
player
Yeah.
out there. He is definitely one of the people who would
Kill the rich.
Kill the rich. But when I talked to him about it even more, I was like, well, they didn't do anything wrong. This is really, Bethesda's fault.
Mm-hmm.
And he agreed with that. He wasn't like, nah, it's their fault. Like, he was really angry about them, but he was like, it's their fault for even putting this out there for people to get, and it not being a good system, and it creating more problems amongst a loyal fan base who shouldn't be as loyal as they have been in regards to how they've been treated.
To be fair to Bethesda, though, Skyrim had a lot of problems when it came out, and it took them a very long time to fix everything. But I think the reason Bethesda has such a strong fan base is that they always fix it in the end. I mean, maybe not everything all of the time, but like the major stuff, I expect that they're going to continue to work on 76 until it's fine.
Yeah.
And I get why they're charging money. It costs money to fix things, and they're not gaining any more money from the people that are
I don't
still
think
playing
they're
76.
charging for servers in order to fix existing bugs. I don't know if that's the system, but
Well, I don't know. I
I
figured.
I think that's I can see why you would think that and why you wouldn't, but I do think it is one of those, oh, hey, look, just still give us some money so that way we can improve this. That's what I was thinking.
It's like taxes.
Yeah. I also do want to have a little anecdote. One of the streamers I listened to was talking about Fallout 76, and because he was doing a subathon, which is basically, he was like, all right, I have 8 hours on my clock, and then for every single sub I get, I'm going to add 30 seconds to this, and then I'll just play for however long, you guys sub. And so he was doing it, and he was talking about his last one that he did, which was for Fallout 76, and Bethesda actually sponsored him to play it for his subathon. So he's playing the game, and I think this was release day, and so he's been playing the game for like 8 hours, and he's got 20 hours left on his clock in order to stream it. And he was just like, you know what? This game is terrible. I am changing my subathon, so instead of adding 30 seconds, it is now subtracting 30 seconds from this game. So within 30 minutes, his timer was down to 1 hour that he had to play the game. Even his people did not want him to play this game anymore. So he has now been blacklisted by Bethesda. Which is understandable, but he was like, it was worth it.
So AJ, what we need from you is 3 positive facts about Fallout 76, because I would love to know why people are playing this.
Agreed.
3 positive facts.
One positive opinion would be that when they finally do, if they do, get their stuff together, it sounds like it's going to be a really amazing experience.
That's the saddest thing, is the premise.
Yeah.
It seems amazing.
Yeah.
I would love to be like in that world with everybody messing it up.
Except the execution is flawed out.
Yeah.
No, I don't like
Yeah, I
it.
don't like it. I saw what you were
Oh,
trying.
I see what you try to do there.
Let's move
now.
on. Let's
Let's
move on.
Let's move on.
Rapid fire.
Let's go to something happy. Shigeru Miyamoto, which is the creator of Mario and Nintendo and all that jazz. He's amazing. Amazing person.
One of them, yes.
One of them. I'm not saying he created Nintendo. Sorry. I didn't mean that. But creator of Mario. He was honored in Japan as a person of cultural merit, which is basically like one of their highest honors that you can get for not being in military.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well deserved.
Not going to have any dissenters here.
Nope.
No. Oh, wait. Oh, the guy who made Zelda thinks he deserves an award? Donkey Kong? Get out of here, Shigeru.
Yeah, I think they do 20 people every year that they do with, and it's all throughout all the arts, though. All of them. So yeah,
That's fantastic.
This one this year. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, well done there.
It's about time.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
actually
very
surprised
much
it hadn't happened sooner, to be honest.
Agreed. Yeah.
I didn't realize he didn't have any
He's
kind of
younger than I
award.
think he is, though.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
even Miyazaki, he didn't get it until I think 2012 or 2010. And
Oh.
he's been around forever. So, yeah, good for him. Good for him. And then EA has announced that they will not be putting out their NBA Live game this year, which is, I think, the third or fourth time they've ever done this.
You should be able to pay them like $1, and then they'll just change all your 2019s to 2020s.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what they do.
I don't think I could care less about a franchise.
Agreed. Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm actively trying, and I don't think I can.
Yeah, I think because even their announcement was met with like
Okay.
a loud like yawn.
Alright.
Oh yeah, okay, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, hope they figure it out.
Yeah,
Make
yeah,
games
yeah.
fun again.
Make games fun again. However, a game that will be coming out is Pokemon Sword and Shield, and you can now preload that now, Amanda?
Yes, if you've pre-ordered it, then they'll start loading it on your Switch. So come game day, you can just click it and maybe have a short update and then jump right in. So if you've bought it, totally download it. And if you haven't, now would be a good time.
I dropped $180 this week pre-ordering Death Stranding, Sword and Shield, and Star Wars Fallen Order. My November is effed.
You mean F for it's going to be fantastic.
You-
You're going to be
Fun?
playing all those games.
You took the F right out of my mouth.
And then let's see here. Steam now. So before, if you would review a game, even if you'd only been playing it for an hour or whatever, you could review a game and it'd be like, all right, cool, and then you could play for however long you want. But now Steam has been testing something out where if you played a game and you reviewed it and then you've been playing it for a lot longer, like say like another 40 minutes or another 40 hours, or maybe another 100 hours or something like that, you're like, hey, you want to review this game again, see what it's like now, maybe give people a taste of what it's like currently. Because there's been plenty of reviews I've seen on there where it's like, this game is trash, and they've played it for like 400 hours. What do you mean? What?
Clearly, you're enjoying it.
Yeah,
Some part of it.
Some part of this, yeah. Whether you're a masochist or not, you're still enjoying it.
Or you forgot to turn it off.
Yeah. Oh God, my PC's still on.
You can also be like, well, my stupid girlfriend's playing it, so I'm updating my review to say I'm not playing it, but she really likes it because she's stupid.
I'm sure that's going to work out for somebody out there. So I think that's pretty cool, though, because there's too many times where people just play it and then they just forget they even wrote a review about it, and so I think that'll be good for it.
Yeah,
Be good.
yeah.
And then let's see here. Donkey and Diddy has got some excited news, right there, Amanda?
Yeah, they're adding Donkey and Diddy Kong to Dr. Mario World, which is very funny. Both, new character models are always great, but their images of them as doctors do not give me confidence in their doctoring abilities.
Is Dr. Mario a good doctor? I've never played anything like that.
They
He's pretty
released
good.
an article about how long Mario's been around and how long you have to go to school in order to be a doctor. He definitely doesn't have a degree. Like,
Oh, wow.
he did not go to
It's like a
medical
Dr.
school.
Phil kind of
Yeah.
thing, but he dresses like a medical doctor.
The word
Okay.
doctor's in quotation marks, but with Donkey and Diddy, they look like they attacked a doctor, tore off his clothes and are wearing pieces of it.
See, at least I think like Mario, he's like an honorary doctorate. I think Donkey and Diddy are unhonorary. There.
It's just fun saying Dr. Donkey.
There's
Dr.
no way.
Diddy is good.
Dr.
Yeah.
Diddy.
That's like 2 rap people in one.
Dr. Donkey.
There's no way every one of their cures doesn't involve bananas. I broke my foot. Here's a banana.
It's good for if you have low potassium.
Yeah, I was about to say you need more potassium than just throwing stuff out there. That's pretty fun.
And maybe Donkey Kong will give out barrels of whiskey. Oh no, I've just found out recently that wasn't Donkey Kong. That was his great grandfather.
Cranky.
Cranky.
It was Cranky Kong. Yeah. He looks like a drunk, so yeah, that's And then today some brand new stuff going on, right, Troy?
New news. BlizzCon 2019 kicked off today. They had the opening ceremonies, a nice about an hour and a half event where they threw out a bunch of the new works that they're going to be bringing to the video game community coming soon. So here's 3 of my main highlights. One is Diablo 4, the hotly anticipated sequel to Diablo 3. But is a classic video game in all sense of the words.
And of the world.
Of the world. It looks very much like Diablo 3, different graphics, not a bad thing.
No.
Gameplay wise, that looks like. But it looks like they're going to be adding some PvP aspects to it, which could be very fun. But
In the same way that Destiny was nonsense to you when you listen to it, because you're like, I don't play this game. Diablo is nonsense to me. I was watching this trailer. I was like, that looks dope. No idea what's going on.
this is gobbledygook. Yeah. But it's cool. They brought back a character called Lilith, who's like the wife of the devil.
Yeah.
As one of the main characters.
Yeah, she'll
which
be
is
an
awesome.
antagonist. I think she'll be the primary antagonist.
That's
in this
great.
One. Yeah.
Her character
great.
design was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a I think a 12-foot statue of her at BlizzCon.
Oh.
Wow.
Somebody took a picture of it, and she's holding Diablo's head. It's pretty cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always feel like the look of Diablo from the cinematics and the art doesn't mesh up with the comparison of like the kind of cutesy top-down beat 'em up that the game is, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Then they announced a new expansion to World of Warcraft, where they're going to be flipping some things on its head. There's going to be a new Shadow World. If you're into World of Warcraft, it's still a thing. So, like, hey, they're going to be switching up a lot of that stuff and exploring new realms, new villains, and old villains alike. Still one of the most popular games on the planet.
Yep. The most popular MMO. So.
Yeah, so keep going.
Yeah.
And then they talked a lot about cards in Hearthstone. I'm not going to talk about it because it was boring. Here's a new card. It has a 6 instead of a 7 on it. I like Hearthstone, but that was boring. But the most exciting news is they officially announced Overwatch 2. Air horns. Sorry, air horn. Thank you.
There you go.
Not an air horn. It's deflated. Obviously, one of my favorite games of all time. And Jordan, you're a big Overwatch fan as well.
Yes, I am.
They're going to kind of be revamping the whole system for Overwatch 2 by adding story-driven content where you're going to be teaming up with your friends around the table here to not fight each other, but fight against like an actual story mode villains, robots that are taking over different areas. There's cinematics that tie them all together as you are fighting.
I think Gears of War did something like that.
It kind of feels like Gears of War. It kind of feels like a Left 4 Dead Gears of War type game.
Love it.
Nice.
And they're going to be changing some of the abilities so that they work better in this mode than they would in the classic Overwatch mode. But it's going to be great to try and put together comps. The one little bit that I saw was you're fighting a bunch of people and then you have to puzzle solve things, beat the enemy, something unlocks, you shoot that thing like in Destiny, and then something unlocks. And in the end, it's like, okay, a detonator time, you have 1 minute. And it's like, we have to get out of here. Now you have to rely on Lucio to speed you through to the end. So you have to work as a team. You have to use May to like put people up to get up on higher levels. You have the teamwork style to get yourself out of this place before it explodes.
So is it going to be set like fixed characters per scenario?
Correct.
Okay. See, I get it. I get why, but I wish it wasn't.
Yeah, this seems much more like the like this is their missions that they were on during their Overwatch days.
This is
cool.
actually going to be picking up the story. It's going to be a sequel.
Yeah,
like,
it's a sequel.
It's going to be continuing the story that Overwatch has started.
Yeah.
and actually going to be telling the story for the first time, really.
They had some really good news for Overwatch 1 fans as well about
Yes.
the content and the characters.
So if you are an Overwatch player and you get Overwatch 2, everything that you've unlocked, your costumes, your highlights, your intros are all going to go into Overwatch 2. And Overwatch 2 is going to be a sequel, but it sounds like it's just going to have Overwatch 1 within it.
Correct.
So that it's not necessarily a separate game. So if you have Overwatch 1, you'll be graduated to Overwatch 2. You won't get to play any of the new content, but you'll still be able to play the modes that you already can.
Yeah.
So it's
currently.
basically what Destiny did. It sounds that way.
When
they went free to
me,
play.
it sounds like it sounds like an expansion to me, more so than like
Yeah.
Overwatch 2. It sounds like
Yeah.
Overwatch, whatever.
Story.
yeah, story mode. Yeah, Overwatch co-op.
But in the best way.
Yeah,
It's
of
like
course.
I wouldn't want to start over entirely. I wouldn't want that for everyone who's put so much in it.
Yeah.
So I feel like they found the best of both worlds. It's
Agreed.
saying like we've upgraded the engine, it's going to look better and it's going to run nicer, but also we're going to bring everything along with you. So.
Yeah. And one of the leaks or one of the stipulations was people were like, oh, I think there's only going to be 4 heroes that copy over, and it's like, oh no, all of them are copying
Right.
over. It's just you're only going to be able to play 4 of them for each mission
At a
Yeah.
time.
At a time, and they're also adding new heroes as well that aren't in Overwatch 1.
And what that allows is just more personality. So now Genji can talk to Zenyatta about their history because they actually have a history together.
Yeah.
So you put them in a thing together.
Zenyatta's video, like those little cute, wonderful solo
shorts.
videos, they haven't released one for everybody yet,
No.
correct?
No. He doesn't have one.
They did release the bit about his brother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
in one
when he
of
got
them.
assassinated.
He sure did. But when the cinematic came up, like literally, and they kind of recapped the past 3 years of Overwatch, like Mandy and I were both like tearing up because it's just so inspirational what they do with those characters and
Yeah.
so genuine that I'm really excited for any bit of content that they can give us when it comes to just learning more about the world and the story. So
Agreed.
I
I'm
love
in.
the idea of renewing something that, because there's nothing sort of more, I don't want to say depressing because that's being melodramatic, but hi, my name's Jordan, I'm an alcoholic. But no, but like when a new game comes out, it's wonderful, you love it, you play it, everybody's playing it, you feel like, and then it has that drop off point because then they make a new one and then everybody kind of forgets about the last one, and then
Yeah.
like even if you liked it and you want to go back to play it, like nobody's really playing it, and it's
Yeah.
it's like kind of like, oh, so just expanding on it, I think that's like kind of revolutionary. I hope they kind of do that for more games, like instead of just dropping it, maybe just keep adding to it for a while before 6 years later they like, all right, here's part 3.
Yeah, agreed.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And they're still going to be holding more individual game panels throughout the entire weekend. So we'll find out more and we'll talk about it more next
Yeah.
week. So definitely. So that's the end of our news segments.
Brian, I went to the dentist this week and
hate that.
got a teeth cleaning. They
Okay.
did the scrapes. They did the stuff. Clean it out, floss it, all those good things. But because of that, I definitely came back with a little bit of sore gums. 'Cause they go to work. They go to work there. They
Oh,
really
yeah.
got in there. And I'm kind of like, I need something to kind of soothe my mouth, I looked in the fridge. I was like, not cold enough. Looked in the freezer. I was like, yes, there it is. Something that's just cold, that's delicious.
Oh, cold
That'll-
and delicious.
Yeah, that'll just make my mouth feel a lot better.
Like
You know
a
what
frosty treat.
I mean, if frosty, yes, but I really want it to have like a quality that's delicious. Like I want it to be more than just frosty, but I can't think of the word.
Okay. Like Frosty, like a snowman, or
Yeah, okay, yeah,
okay,
sure,
yeah.
sure. But what is a snowman? Maybe I don't know. Taste like?
Oh, I don't know. Like, do they even have taste buds? Do you
I-
think
I-
they could taste
I
if
don't.
they were
I
alive?
don't. I'm not asking if the snowman can taste. I'm
Oh,
tasting here.
well,
Okay,
I mean-
no.
I mean, I want to know that.
Well, that's do that on your own time.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay, no, I need my mouth hurts right now. Okay, come on.
That's true. Yeah.
I just need something that's delicious, but I don't know what the word is. Something.
Probably tasty.
Yes, something tasty.
Oh, taste is tasty.
Taste is tasty. Yeah. So I guess it would be a.
I guess a
could eat
tasty topic.
Yeah.
Oh.
What if the guest foils that and just is like, tasty?
That works. There's no wrong way.
There's no wrong way.
I was like, I'm going to do it. And I'm like,
The
no,
quicker
wait.
you can get us out of that, the better.
Amanda used to be that person.
Oh, I do that all the time. I'm like, all right, and I'm done.
I was hoping. Tasty
I'm like, am
Topics.
I allowed?
Tasty Topics are a chance to dive a little deeper on a topic within the industry of any realm.
Correct.
And so, we're going to dive into a special one today.
That's right. And Troy, you have our topic, right?
Yeah, so since Halloween just ended, we wanted to know, amongst our dragons here, if you had to make a Halloween-type game, what would it be? What would be in it? What elements, what inspirations would you have to put into this game that you are kind of, putting together, your dream Halloween game? For me, I'm a really big fan recently of the Friday 13th, the game, which is essentially hide and go seek with a murderer. So for me, to make I would want a Halloween game that's a little bit suspenseful, a little bit horror filled. I would want something that is multiplayer. So that's an element that I would put in to this game, would be a multiplayer experience, whether it's on a team versus team or 1 versus 5, whatever it may be. I like the aspect of versing because it adds a thrilling element of unpredictability to it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. For me, actually, if I were to make a Halloween game, I'd probably make a visual novel.
Spooky.
In the sense of you're the parents watching out for your children, but they keep on trying to run off in different directions. So you have to choose what you have to do. And I think that's what I would make, because it's more so because every other game has been done.
Yeah, sure.
I want to do like Parent Simulator.
The scariest game of all.
Like, would they be trick-or-treating if they're...
Yeah, they're
like,
trick-or-treating, you're the parents, but you also have to make conversation with the other parents because, you can't just be there.
That would be a very funny
I like
game.
this
Right?
game.
You being
I
like,
would play this game.
I hate
this
Steve.
Okay, we're combining this. Okay, multiplayer, we play the kids, you play the adults, we're trying to get away, you're bringing us back.
But then there's a serial killer.
Now we're talking.
Okay, you know what? Actually,
The mental asylum they
exactly.
escape.
They all escaped. I see where this is going. I like it. It. See, I thought when we were discussing this that I was like, oh man, I would want to make a scary game, and I don't like playing scary games. So then I was like, no. I want to make a game about giving candy away, because that is my favorite thing about Halloween is buying lots of really good Halloween candy and then giving kids like globs and globs of handfuls of it.
Or like, what if like an obese child and you just be like, here's this stick of broccoli.
If it's, I see,
like you have to try to do your part maybe to help.
You have to reward them for doing,
Exercise,
walking.
yeah.
See, I don't really like candy that much.
It's like rewarding a
so
drug
I was
addict
never
with
like
a bag
exactly. Give them Coke. It'll
Yeah,
be
give them a
fine.
bag of
Just give 'em
Coke.
a bag of
You've gone to 9 months. Here,
I
have a
thought you
drink.
meant like a Coke. like yeah.
No, I drink Dr. Pepper. Coca-Cola is disgusting. What are you talking about?
So you would
I
add
want
a
to make a
candy
game.
element.
Right. I think we should add a piece of the game. So Brian's playing as the parents. You know.
Yes.
I would prefer to add it so that it's almost like you're trying to judge the costumes that come to the door. But what if like it's a really cute little kid in like just an adorable like butterfly costume, but it's terrible looking? You would still give them globs and globs of candy because that's an
Globs.
adorable. Yeah, because they're globs,
So you're like candy simulator.
Candy simulator. I just want to
also,
give people
like,
candy.
You want to judge the costumes.
But
if you did really well,
do they
you
say
give a
trick
little
or
more
treat?
candy.
You give them more candy. If they don't
But
say
you
trick,
also have to manage your candy because you might run out.
right? You
by
might
the
run
end
out
of
of
the
candy
night.
if you like the costume.
Right.
Imagine if the
Right.
little kid in the butterfly costume gets to your door after
Right.
you've given all the globs away.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. So.
Wow.
Yeah, this is
All right.
This
All
is
right.
intense.
This is
This
good.
has
This
gone
is good.
places.
I
This
like
is
it.
Feels
good.
like it's the same game though. Are we just making
yeah,
one
I think
amoeba
so.
of a
I
game?
think
I
this
think
game
we are.
has mutated into the same.
I think we
game.
are.
I don't think mine's gonna fit, but
We'll make it
fine.
fit.
Well, you said there was
Yeah.
a serial killer. Go on.
No, I didn't say.
No, that was
I
me.
didn't
Oh,
say that.
oh.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
What element would you like in a
Well,
video game you're making?
No, I mean I thought more conceptual. I wanted a game where you take care of dogs, basically, in some kind of. I originally wanted this to be a movie, and I thought after playing Detroit Become Human, like this kind of story-driven game of like, with not a lot happens, but it tells a great story. And I just was like, I always think natural disaster. What if something crazy happens? Like, I'm never worried about where am I going to get, who's going to take it. I'm like, no, the dogs. Like, what if you're in a zombie apocalypse with a dog? Dogs don't understand. No, don't bark because zombies will hear you. That you have but I'm not going to not care for my animals during these kind of situations. So I wanted to kind of have a game where you're kind of just roaming the zombie-ridden world, taking care of your pets.
So we take Brian's idea, but instead of children, you're a dog parent trick-or-treating with your dog.
Or can we just add...
This works out
Yes, yeah.
because like if you're doing the candy simulator, then you can't be out with your kids that are out trick or treating. But if you're managing your dogs who are like either trying to attack or like are they afraid
Or
of
we
the
can
kids.
just put a dog in the house with the candy people.
Exactly.
And then the dog,
Yeah.
you like sometimes you have to walk it.
so maybe
or
the dog
tries to get the candy.
Yeah, the dog
and
tries to
stuff.
get the candy,
Right.
or the dog is making too much noise, so kids are afraid they don't come to the door. You
That's
can't
where I
give
was
away the
going
candy.
with it. Yeah, so you have to control your dogs as well.
Or how do
I
the
like
mental?
it.
But and they can protect you though against the mental patients.
Exactly. I was gonna say, didn't somebody escape? And there's like bad guys. So what if you
Right.
open the door and it's a serial killer? And boom, multiplayer serial killer
Dog.
gets the person with the candy. Then they come in the house, the dog gets rid of them, or they make friends with the dog, and then they're the serial killer giving out the candy.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
adults don't even know.
Or you're yelling at your dog too much, and now he's just afraid to bark, so he's not going to do
Yeah.
anything to him.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta
Oh my
manage that.
goodness, the poor dog. Yeah.
Poor dogs.
Man, all right. Now, Amanda, good luck.
Oh, yeah, mine's easy.
Okay.
I like period pieces. So I'd love to have a Halloween game that has like foundations and like old school Halloween. So like instead of like modern costumes, they have like those old like Celtic masks where they're the animals and the
Very
like the pagan costumes.
unsettling.
There's like fairies and spriggans and stuff, which works perfect with Joe's
does.
suggestion of the
Yeah.
little fairy girl. So I would just
got
take our
you.
entire game and move it back 200 years.
Perfect.
I would love that.
Sign it off.
The people in the asylum would be far more
Crazier.
damaged. Yeah, so it'd be really good.
Hell, have you seen those masks from like the 50s and the early 1900s?
Oh my
Very
gosh.
unsettling.
Oh my god. That's way worse than anything that we could ever think of. And they thought that was cute. All right, well,
Well, I'd play that. Developers,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Brian, get on that.
There's a perfect
God.
game.
Yeah.
I want to design all the dogs. Full.
All right. So it's a free idea, but you have to consult with Jordan before you create any of the
Oh no! If
animals.
you're doing, I thought you were going to create it.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm lazy.
Never mind.
So yeah, good tasty topic there, Troy. I liked it.
Yep. That was a combination. Thank you, Jordan.
That was.
from our
Oh, that
conversation
was,
last
of
night at
course.
the Halloween party.
Yay.
Yeah. Nice combo. Combo breaker. And now that brings us now to our Dragon of the Week.
Do. It's the Dragon of the Week. Yeah, don't you leak. It's the Dragon of the Week. It'll make you freak. The Dragon of the Week. Dragon of the Week is our chance to shine a little love on industry professionals and put a little spotlight on the people who make the games that we talk about every week.
That is true. Yeah. And thanks for taking over for that, Troy, because I messed it up last week. And so this week, Jordan, you decided to take on this burden on your own.
Yeah.
So Jordan, what's our Dragon of the Week this week?
Well, it's never a burden when talking about one of my favorite industry people, Alyson Court.
That's a beautiful name.
It's a wonderful name, beautiful person, beautiful voice, wonderful contributor to this video game community. She is most famously known for playing Claire Redfield in the video game universe.
All right.
Voicing Claire Redfield. I'm sorry.
Okay.
As she done a lot more than that, though. She's also been involved. Well, first of all, she was married to Eric Suzuki at one point, who was sort of a producer on the Resident Evil games for a while. And she has directed voice and motion capture for Resident Evil Outbreak.
Nice.
Okay.
So she's actually just learned too that she was sort of responsible for the localization of a lot of Capcom's games in North America. One in particular, I don't know if you guys have ever played it, Mega Max X5. I don't know what that means.
Mega Man X5. Yeah.
What did I say? I said Mega
said
Max
Mega Max.
because my handwriting was sloppy. No, but and then the funny thing is that she renamed all the 8. Can you help me with this? The 8 Maverick bosses.
Yes.
It was her direct decision to rename them all after Guns N' Roses members
That's
because
fun.
of her
That's
then
amazing.
husband at the time's love of the band, which I'm wondering if it was aforementioned Eric Suzuki. But Alyson Court, really, for me, she kind of took Resident Evil to being a game about killing zombies and sort of help me invest in the story. And I'm like a kind of a big stickler for continuation and continuity.
Okay.
And so learning that she was coming back to all these other, sequels up until like I think 2015 when they made Revelations 2, and then they recasted the voice and changed the face model. But it's just she's, I think, what's responsible for these deep roots I have with the Resident Evil franchise, and especially with that character. And really generous person with the fans too. In fact, when she wasn't coming back to do the voice, it wasn't because she didn't want to. It was because the game company just decided to go non-union. They didn't even, they didn't ask her.
Yeah.
But the outpouring from the fans, because I'm not the only one, the outpouring from the fans actually caused Capcom Japan to reach out to her and make contact. Not really to say we're going to give it to you when we do the remake or Revelations to give it to you, but we're not going to give you the part. But it just goes to show you that she does mean a lot to the Resident Evil community. And the funny thing is, she's actually right now, I know it's not really video game related, but she's voicing she's on a show, a Nickelodeon show called Mysticons. And she was the voice of Arcana Goodfay, who is a Mysticon dragon mage.
Ooh.
So she's
Dragons.
actually the voice of a dragon right now.
We gotta get that dragon in a video game.
I mean,
right.
I'm sure it's only a matter of time. Yeah.
It's got to be a phone game at least, some sort of mobile game. We can figure this out.
One of those free browser games that Nintendo used to do. Not
Yeah.
Nintendo. I'm sorry, Nickelodeon used to do.
But she, it's cool too. Because Alyson Court really, she went from just being a young voice actress in a video game. I think the first video game, she was in Resident Evil 2. That was the first one, and it was titled Adventure Game. So she had no idea what Resident Evil was at that point, and it was still finding its foot in the community. I think 2 was really what like pushed it, put it on the map. But she was out. She went from just being out promoting she was on the big comfy couch, and she was at a convention dressed as like her character, whose name is Lunette, and she didn't even know the game had come out, but she heard herself screaming at another booth because I guess they were like demoing it.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, "That's me, that's me."
She was on the big comfy couch?
Yeah, she was Lunette the clown.
The main person?
Yeah,
That's Alyson Court?
that's Alyson Court.
The little girl, the little like doll?
Yeah, the little big red nose.
Yeah.
I never watched it, but
Big fan of her work.
see, I've come into that knowing that
Yeah.
I've only been exposed to that because I've looked her up. But,
That's awesome. And Claire Redfield is a staple of the Resident Evil franchise.
Yeah.
but to me,
The
it's
importance of the character that she brings to life is like vital to the success of that series.
I agree,
think.
but because for me, it's not even just that character at this point. Though I thought it was the character of Claire Redfield because I thought it was safe in the hands of Alyson Court because they kept asking her to come back, and I was so thrilled because 1998. You can't Google people really. I mean, you probably could. I couldn't. I don't think we had a computer, but the access to the people that we have now, like especially the voice actors who aren't very, they're not as well known or as exposed. If they just strictly do that as like people who are in your favorite movies, but somebody who's voicing an iconic character.
People know Ewan McGregor more than Troy Baker.
Right. I'm not gonna
Oh,
get.
yeah.
I don't. I'm like looking up Alyson Court when I finally did get a computer in the year whatever it was. But it's like there was nothing on her really. Now, thanks to the internet and thanks to people having conventions, and I've gotten to see a lot more about her. But what I was saying was she went from just doing these little voices to actually having a very heavy hand in taking an interest in video games. So she takes it very seriously, and I think that's pretty cool.
Now, have you had? I know there's like a personal connection, or someone who actually knows people that work on Resident Evil.
I've actually reached out to Lisa Jai, who voiced Sherry Birkin in Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
I followed her on Instagram, and then we've actually sent a lot of messages back and forth.
That's cool.
Am I is that who you're thinking, or did I?
Oh no!
Do
I was
really
just
know
wondering if
somebody
Alyson Court fell into that avenue of your actual talking to people that have worked on the series.
No. Well, she knows Lisa Jai. They were on a podcast together.
So one day.
I'm
Maybe
getting
we can
there.
make that happen.
If Alyson Court would just get an Instagram, it would only be a matter of time. She's very responsive. She's been on so many podcasts. I'm sure they don't get paid. They don't get paid to do that. She just donates her time and answers the same question over and over again and does it in that cheerful, Lydia Dietz voice that she did. But yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Nice. Very good Dragon of the Week there.
Yeah,
Alyson Court.
Alyson Court. I want a T-shirt that says Alyson Court is my Claire Redfield, because without her, I'm not really that excited about Claire Redfield anymore.
It's gonna be hard. Big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
But definitely feel how important Alyson is to one of your favorite franchises. So,
Absolutely.
right on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Nicely done. Thanks for coming in here and doing that Dragon of the Week.
My pleasure. I did it.
Yay.
All right, and unfortunately, that brings us to the end of this episode.
Wom, 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 wom.
As always, we record live upstairs inside of Tate's Comics, powered by our friends, the 3000 Brigade. You can find us online, right there, Troy?
That's right. Check us out on Twitter for updates day to day on things going on in the video game industry, entertainment style, and also on Instagram, where we have some fun posting videos of ourselves playing video games and also having dumb fun features throughout the week, which
That's
you
right.
got to be a part of this week,
Yeah.
Jordan.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for contributing to our content.
Yeah,
Yes.
you'll also be able to find all of us in person at Anime EY.
That's right.
We're
Where's that at?
That's going to be down in Miami.
No.
No, it's not. It's going to be
Broward.
in Broward. That's right, Fort Lauderdale. I'm all lost. It's going to be in Broward, in Fort Lauderdale, Coconut Creek, something like that.
Yeah, it's in the Marriott.
It's
though.
the weekend of November 15th.
Yep.
Bring your Pokemon Switch.
Yes.
Oh, please do.
Yes.
I hope to catch lots of Surfetch to give to people.
Yes.
Thank you. I need it.
I need a Ponyta.
Yeah. Search for
You're
us.
not getting it.
We may or may not be in Dragon Kigurumis, depending on the day. We'll figure it out. But yeah,
Ooh.
definitely come by, say hi, give us a high five. We'll be there. So Anime EY.
Indeed. Let's honor our GOD, our guest of the week, Jordan, for
Jordan.
coming by and
Thank
gracing
you.
us.
My
Yes.
pleasure.
Yes, thank you very much, Jordan. And as always, my name is Brian.
Amanda.
I'm Troy,
And I'm Joe.
and we are
The Taste of
Dragons. You can say it too, Jordan.
Taste of Dragons.
Nailed it.
Boom. And we did it twice this episode. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.
Well done.